Don, the Auction Professor. Today is Sunday, so we're going to do a what's sold on eBay today. And as usual, I'll try to add some information into there, some of the history, maybe some places you can get these things at. And I'll try and add other commentary that may help you some. So we're going to go over to the screen and we will go from there.
Again, this is just a small portion of what we sold. I just picked some random items this week. There's probably 25 or 30 items this week. Again, that's about what I've been picking. And again, but we sold way more than that this week. Let's see here. The first item here, this one I had up for a little while. This one's actually missing part of it. There should be a metal at the bottom where the string is that you see in the photo here. Even missing the metal, I took 25 out of this. This was like a $3 pickup from a sale somewhere. Picked up a bunch of these items, all from the same person, and we went over and at a bulk price wise, that's about what I have, and most of the items is $3 or $4. Postcards here, California. As I said, I sell a ton of California. Right now, I sell more California cards than anything else by far. I've got 7 or 8 people that constantly look and email me and ask me for posting new California cards. They're big movers, probably the #1 mover in the entire postcard category section. Again, this was $1 I paid for it. It was up for a day or two, and I took $10 for it. $8 profit, literally after fees, after listing, after everything. So this is quick money. We sell, a bunch of these a day. We sell at least 10 postcards every day of the week. This is probably the cheapest one we've sold this week. So most cards go in the 25 or 30 range on average. I've talked about these. I sold a label or averaged 1 label every day this week for these roller skating labels. And the cheapest one I sold was $20. This one sold for $34.50. I have 60 cents or something like that into listing this. So no big deal whatsoever. Big profit margin item. Matter of pennies into it, literally. Raphael Tuck. Now, I've talked about Raphael Tuck many times. Every Raphael Tuck greeting card that we get that's pre-1930, I do sell. I don't think I keep any of them on unless it is damaged or something else is wrong with it. They don't always say Raphael Tuck, but if you want to see the logo, it's right there. That is the logo you need to look for on anything Christmas card-wise. They will always sell. Now, they also have it up on the front. You can see in the bottom left. Let's do this image here. It's a London manufacturer. They getting the offers in here. Hang on just a second. It's a London manufacturer. They were printers to the king and queen for many years, if not still to this day. But they printed fine quality, fancy stuff. Their Christmas cards, especially the Santa Clauses and the fantasy items, sell for a ton of money. We've sold, some Christmas Victorian Raphael Tuck trade cards into the $100 plus range, and we do that constantly. This one here I took $21.50 out of. And this was like $1 purchase out of a postcard bin. You can see it's almost identically in size to a postcard. Literally the person I got this from thought it was a postcard. It's about 3.5 by 5. And a typical postcard of this day was 3.5 by 5.5, give or take a ½ inch or so depending on the manufacturer. So this was a good place to find these, would be in postcard collections, especially the holiday sections. You will find these in there. Another one of the Gar medals. This one was $3 as well too. This one I took 21. It's damaged. It literally has the ribbon ripped in half from age. It has a nice celluloid piece on the bottom. Somebody might have the ribbon and just want the celluloid on the top. But either way, this is a scarce item and still worth money, even damaged. So for my $3 investment, I at least got 15 bucks back, with doing nothing more than taking a couple of photos and spending a minute or so to list it. So you've got nothing into it. 2 or 3 minutes of your time to turn around and get $15 back after all fees and everything is said and done is a good deal. These buckles here I pick up for $1 or $2 a piece. This has a real coin in it. I got 15 bucks out of this one here. It was up for a little while. You can see I went from $34.50 down to 27, or down to $20.70. And then I settled on 15. Who knows what these things are worth? They paid shipping, so, I'm not really out a thing. I made my money back and still made over 10 bucks in profit. And it's just something that can sit in the same totes, the little bins that I have my postcards and things in. I can fit 40 or 50 of these in one of those totes. And I do buy buckles like this for $1 or $2 a piece in big bunches of them. I'll buy a bunch sometimes when I run across vintage ones. I sell a couple of these every single week, probably. It may not sound like a huge thing, but you don't have much into listing them, you don't have much into buying them, and you're making 15 bucks a pop in profit. Sometimes I sell buckles for 15, 20 bucks immediately. Sometimes I sell them for 50 bucks a piece immediately. So buckles are a good thing to get, and they show up in antique stores, antique malls, and especially estate sales. I've also bought bunches of these for real cheap money, for a quarter to 50 cents each when you buy them in a lot at a local live auction. Those are great sources to get these at. Felt pennants. Now these sell too. This is going to be a bolo. I always look for felt pennants. This was at a estate sale with a stack of about 60 of these. Now I bought literally 40 some odd, I think 42 out of that lot, out of the assortment. No one looked at them. I picked out 42 of these for $1 a piece. I was shocked to see these $1 a piece. Usually they're 5 or 10 bucks at some of these sales. Sometimes you get lucky and they're 2 to 3 bucks a piece. But for $1 a piece, my $42 investment, I've averaged on these almost 20 bucks a piece on every one I sold. Some went for 50 and 60. There was a Red Sox baseball one in there that went for like 68 bucks. On average, though, as I said, 20 bucks or so. This one went for $17.50, and it's a small one. It's not even the large ones. Now, all the blue hole items would be a bolo, too. Now, this is a local, like an attraction, long since closed on. It was bought by some private individual when they weren't making any money, when the highway routes changed, and no one went there anymore. So all the items from there go, except the postcards. There's a ton of postcards, and they're not as popular as the physical items. I've sold plates and pitchers and salt and pepper shakers from the Blue Hole, but they always sell. I never keep the Blue Hole items in stock other than the postcards. Good item, good bolo. Next item, a real picture, a real photo postcard. These sell constantly. This one here I had up, again, I always put a high price on them. There was nothing really from this town going for any considerable amount of money, so I literally judged by the content of other ones with similar content from other cities, and the average price that things with this type of content go for is 45 bucks or thereabouts. And so I settled on the offer of 45 bucks. That seemed a legitimate offer. It seemed to be about an average price. So for 45 bucks, I have, maybe 45 cents in the listing fees, and then 2 or 3 bucks into buying this card, and that is it. And then I got 45 bucks out of it. So this is one of those, antique mall purchases. Next one here, another roller skating label, 20 bucks I took out of this one. You can see there's a piece of tape on it. I must have missed that one. It has been removed since I mailed this item out, but it looks nice. It's a nice one, but a good purchase here. Let's see, next one. Now, I know I showed these in a haul video. I bought a whole bunch of music boxes, some broken and some pieces, and some that I could just put back together. I listed immediately all the ones that played and were ready to go, and we sold 3 of those already. And I got full price for every one of them. No offers or anything, even though I had make an offer, best offer on it, $39.99. I paid $25 for the lot, so I already made a profit on the very first one. And then again, as I said, I sold a couple other ones of these already, and that's all profit. So we're already over the $100 profit mark on this lot that I purchased. So buying in bulk at an auction is really good, or from a picker, or from wherever you can get them at. But auctions, if you don't have a picker, are your best source. This one was up for like 2 whopping hours. I probably should have put higher on it, but this card, the company, Bay State Clothing Company, they don't go for a ton of money, 8, 10 bucks at the most. So, I know it's got a baseball subject on here. I tripled it up to $34.50, and it sold full price at that within a couple hours. Grab the ball, Jimmy. It was an interesting topic. I've seen this one before. There's several versions of the get the ball. It's a comical one. The baseball is why this sold. Just putting the word baseball in the title sold it. He's obviously has a baseball cap on. It looks like he has a mitt in his hand stuffed behind his back, and the baseball there is there too. Anything baseball, pre-1910 like this, advertising for something always sells for us, always, and it never stays up long at all. I've got 3 or 4 people that scour our listings whenever we put new stuff up, and will actually just buy just baseball items from us. And, I've talked about this before. Having a large inventory and constantly listing multiple items keeps you rolling. That is another way to rank higher in the search rankings, constantly putting stuff up. If your account is inactive or you're only listing minimal, a few things here, a few things there, you're not going to rank as high because you're not going to be of interest to people. Buyers want people that are selling and constantly listing new stuff and giving them constant new opportunities to buy things. That's the facts on that. So you need to be listing stuff all the time to generate that ranking, to hit the flag with eBay and get your item up higher on the ranking. Let's move on here. I talked about the camera lots. I bought a huge lot of camera equipment. When you go to auctions, again, local live auctions, you'll see just junk stuff of camera pieces just thrown in like a 50-pound lot, just sold, blown out, and buy them like that. I've bought them myself, and I've also bought them from pickers that way. I've spent $125 on a huge lot of camera equipment. I sold one lens out of that lot for $360. So one item more than doubled my money. And then I've been selling pieces every single week since, several a week. That was like $1,000+ profit on these things. This one here is a label, I believe. I put card because it could go either way. But back in the day, they used to put these fancy labels on things, and they're big sellers. A regular Larkin Soap Company item doesn't go for $8-10 unless it's like something really cool. This one I took 40 on. I put it for $57.50. I got $1 for it. I bought it out of a postcard assortment. It's not a postcard. Person had no clue. It's on paper even. So good purchase, good sell, good profit. Another postcard, California. This one took 25 on this one. It's real hand tinting on it. Now, this is one thing you want to learn to be able to tell the difference on. Somebody hand painted all the color on this card. It's just a standard flat one color card, and that's what they did back in the day to colorize. It was cheaper than doing photographs. It was still an upcharge. This card may have cost 2 or 3 cents at the time versus a penny or something back in the day. Some of the more elaborate cards may have been, 2 for, a dime or a nickel or something, and that was expensive for cards back in the day. You'll still see sometimes 1 cent written on the back of some of these cards. That's the price they were selling that card when it was new. So, these were still embellished at the time. That's what you need to be able to distinguish is a hand-tinted card, because they always sell better from small towns when they're hand-tinted. Doesn't have to be a real photo to be hand-tinted. Most of the ones that are hand-tinted are not real photos. But you also need to be able to tell a real photo or a real picture postcard, either or you want to call it. When you can't tell the difference, what you need to do is buy a jeweler's loupe and look at these close up, and you can see the brush strokes. You can see that it's not a printed color when you see the colored ones like this, the hand tinted ones. And when you look at a real photo, you can see that there's no dot matrix in there. There's no dots, just like it prints off a printer. That's what they used to use to print the actual postcard. If it has the dots, it's not a real photo. That's just something you should look into and buy yourself a loupe if you're going to be doing this, or you're going to be interested in this and want to be able to really scoop out the good cards. After a while, you'll just be able to tell what they are real quick just by looking at them, from a distance. Boom, that's a hand tinted, or boom, that's a real photo. On to the next one. I've talked about these. Here's something you should do your homework. Go do a search on eBay for sold items and type in jiggler. That's all I'm going to say. You will see some high dollar jigglers. These sell. This is like a 10 for $1 item I purchased from some little junk lot. Maybe a quarter at the very, very most, but it sold for $7.50 and it was only up for 2 days. These always sell for us, always. Anything that says jiggler that is technically a jiggler sells. Again, do some homework now. Research that. Look up jiggler. You are going to run into these at Savers. I guarantee it. You are going to run into these at Goodwill and at garage sales, estate sales. Anywhere you go, these show up everywhere. These are in bag lots on the wall at Savers. I don't know how many jigglers I have pulled out of a thrift store. Thrift stores are good sources for jigglers. Raphael Tuck again. These always sell. This is a private one. The person bought a box of these back in like 1870s or 80s, and they would put their own name on it and customize them for themselves. It's a typical, like what they do even modern to this day. But this is early. This is over 100 years old, and just because it's a Raphael Tuck, it did sell. I took, I think, $12.50 on this one here. You can see Raphael Tuck. Plain back. It has their logo on it, though, on the back. Let me show you again. This is what you look for. It's on everything. Anything that's Raphael Tuck is going to have this on it, or at least something on it that says Raphael Tuck, or that has the RTS logo right there with the easel. Good items. They are always money makers. We sell every Raphael Tuck that's decent and not in crap condition. Every one. Here's some magazines, Theater Arts. Now I picked up a huge box of these for $5 or $10 for all of them, all together at an estate sale. And I split them up into 5 or 6 lots. This is the second to the last one. I sold 4 or 5 of these. I've got one more to go, and I took $30 for this one, and that's about the average. I think 2 of them went for 25. One I got for 30 or sold 35. And so it was a huge profit. We made over $100 profit from just these junk magazines. Nothing fancy. There's not even a lot of photos in them. So good purchase and good sale. Real good ROI on that one. These here now, I go to, garage sales very scarcely. This one's from a month or two ago. There was one that had scrapbooking supplies. Now, this is vintage. This is 1880s. This is an original Victorian die cut of General Grant. This was in a sheet. Now, I cut the sheet apart on this one. It's not even in the best condition. The sheet was damaged, so I didn't want to sell it as a whole sheet. If you sell it as a whole sheet, you're going to get half of what you would get if you sold these separately. Civil War collectors buy these all the time. I usually get $15 a piece for it, and that's exactly what I took for this one. So, again, all that scrapbooking stuff, new or not, people buy it, they spend a ton of money on it, they get bored with it, they stop doing it, they're stuck with all the stuff, and they just blow it out at a garage sale or on, a Craigslist ad or something. All that stuff's worth a ton of money. All those punches, those fancy punches, the sheets of stickers and the sheets of die cuts, just like this. Even some of the modern ones sell. Individual sheets of modern ones can sell for $15, $20. I always look for those. Those are a bolo every day of the week. Modern as well. Modern punches, the fancy ornate embossers and the glue bottles and the sparkle bottles and the mica tubes and all that stuff sells. So that's just something you can look for as well too. And those are at garage sales. Those will be something you find at garage sales. Brand new scrapbooks that haven't been touched. The book themselves can sell if they're brand new. Those are things for FBA that'll sell quick for you. Scrapbooking items are hot right now. Brand new ones, And again, even some of the stuff that's used will sell for high dollar on eBay, especially, as I said, the stampers, the ink stampers, the ink pads, all that stuff we sell and sell well. Quick movers. Another postcard. Now this one here, the average price for Desolation Valley was $8 to $10. I put $34.50, and it sold overnight. I was kind of surprised. Again, so I could have put $57.50 on this card and possibly gotten that for it. The difference between mine and theirs, several of the other ones that sold were done at auction, so they set their price. I set the price this way. When you do a buy it now, you set the price versus the buyer setting the price on an auction. Sometimes an auction's better if the item is something that's volatile and could go really high. You never know on some items like this. Would I put it up? Should I put it up at an auction? No, probably next time I've just put it up for $57.50. The only real difference between this one and the other versions of this that were on eBay is this one has like a full snow scene in it. That's the only real difference. The other one still had snow on some of the caps, but no real difference. Again, the biggest seller in the postcard category, probably across the board, is California cards. And again, I sell a ton of them. Talk about labels again. $12.50 this one sold for. Easy item, easy quick sell, 2 photographs. This one was up for a little while. We have 60, maybe 70 cents in a listing it. No big deal because I only paid 50 cents to $1 for it. And I still made almost $10 profit, even sitting there. Now I've talked about these. We buy out wholesale places. This was like a gift shop or retail place that had brand new books and magazines. And I took all the military items that they had, all the books and everything. I bought stacks of these. I've been selling them one at a time. Average price is $10. This one I think I took, $12.50 on this one. Again, some of these I have like 50 copies of. I list one, and then when that one sells, I'll list another one. Some of them that routinely sell and aren't, as scarce though, like this one's a little scarcer, I might list, that I have 5 or 10 copies at once and then just let them sell through that way. There's 2 ploys on this. If you sell and show that you have a whole bunch of these in one listing, they won't think there was as scarce and it won't sell for as high because they know there's a bunch of them. But if they see that, oh wow, there's only one for sale, I don't see any other ones, it'll sell higher. It just usually happens that way. This was an early one. This one was up for a little while. You can see it did sell. I've marked it down, but at this item, this is like a 50-cent item out of a basket somewhere. I have 50 cents or $1 into this. It's black glass. It has an attached brass seahorse with a gold-filled clasp at the top or clip. I don't mind holding on to these. You have 60 cents, a dollar in the listing and a dollar in the fees or something, and you're making 10 bucks profit. It's nothing to take photographs. It's nothing to list, and it's up, it's done, it sits, it's residual income. This one here, now I hadn't seen any water white electric oil before. This is by Standard Oil Company. Now, most Standard Oil Company cards of this era aren't worth more than $8-10. I put higher on it. As I said, I usually, triple it on some cases, and it sold. It sold for a high dollar. I took 30 bucks on this. Happy with the sale. This one is a fairly scarce card and doesn't show up that often, so this is why that one sold for better. Plus, as I said, I put higher on it. Malls these days are a thing of the past. Mall items are scarce. They're getting harder to find. Town I grew up in had 5 or 6 malls at one time. Nowadays, there's one big one that doesn't do great business. They're constantly losing stores inside. There's constantly stores swapping and coming and going. One year you'll eat at a restaurant, the next year you'll go back to eat at it, and it's not even there anymore. So these items are collectible. Most any inside mall of the day, the postcards from that mall sell. This bird's eye view, it doesn't say it in the title of the card, anywhere in the card, but when they're aerial views like this, you need to just throw in bird's eye view. Bird's eye views usually make an item sell better. I got 10 bucks out of this one. Average price on these mall ones from the same mall is 5 to 8 bucks. This one wasn't a haul video. This is like a gumball machine version of Gamera, the turtle from Godzilla. This is vintage. It's a neat one. It's early. This is like one of those 4 for $1 or 10 for $1 purchases. This is literally a quarter or less, and I took $17.50 on it. Everybody in their world would pass this up, thinking it's nothing, but knowing your characters sometimes helps. Gamera, it's a given. I watched them as a kid, in the early 70s when I was, 5 and 6. These were popular. You saw these. I played with these. I got them out of gumball machines myself, probably. This is a bolo in my book. This is something that everybody walks by and pays no attention to, these little tiny things in little baskets and bins that you can get like 10 for $1, 5 for $1, 4 for $1, whatever the case may be. This is worth $1 even, but I didn't even pay that for it. Sheet music I sell, maybe 1 or 2 every week. And they usually average, 10, 15, 20 bucks a piece. These I pay, as I said, $1 overall for most every sheet music I get. Sometimes I'll pay a little higher, 2, 3 bucks. The most I think I've ever paid for a sheet music is 5. This one here I took $12.50. It's an original, it's a good item. Person's probably going to frame this piece here and put it on the wall somewhere. More roller skating label. I took 20 on this one. Easy move. Next one here. Comic books, as I said, I always sell comic books. This was at a sale. The gentleman had 3,000 or 4,000 comic books. It was literally a listed sale on Craigslist. I wasn't the first one there. There were several people who had already looked through and picked out all the 10 and 12 cent covers. Maybe they were, strapped on funds and they only bought the ones they thought they could get the most on. But they passed on a ton of good comic books. This lot went for $57.50. They were $1 a piece for the most part, all the comic books. I think they may have charged more for the 10 and 12 cent covers. I didn't listen to the story or what the price was. But all of these, when I got up there, I told them they were newer. They looked at them and they didn't care about the 20 cent and up. So I paid $1. $57.50 for 4 comic books. That's a pretty good return on my investment. And again, they're modern ones. They're newer. They're Bronze Age. And this one was even in there. This is $1 cover. This is the first Venom cover, I believe. I took $45 for this one. The condition on this was excellent. It may have been a pricier comic book, but for me, I blow these things out. I've got a ton of comic books. I get them in all the time. For $1, I make a $40 profit, and off it goes. Let's see the last item here today. I've showed these in a haul video not too long ago. These are blank acetate recording discs. You could record 33 or 78 speed on them. 45 didn't exist back then, so it doesn't say that on the disc, but you could have recorded it at 45 speed as well on these. It's just a blank disc. It's perfectly smooth, and then the machine records it with a stylus that engraves the actual grooves into the record, and that's what this is. This one sold for 40 bucks. Whenever I see these, I usually get on average 10 bucks a disc for them if they're untouched, unrecorded. Somebody's going to go and record something on this. That's just how this works, because you can still make the actual master out of this acetate, and that's how it works. So it's literally a sheet of aluminum with like an acetate shellac surface on the front of it and the back. But that's what I have this week. Hopefully that gives you some ideas. Again, this is just a small sampling of what we sold, a very small percentage of our total overall sales. And this is just from my one account. Again, we do have 2 anchor stores and a third store that we do run sales on too, but not very many on that store.
Well, there you go. There's another what sold on eBay. Just kind of a general glimpse. They're random picked items. Again, we sold way more than what you're seeing. Time-wise, though, it would just take way too long to show you everything we sold. But again, that's what we have. Hopefully you saw something you could pick up yourself and make some money on. Hopefully you learned something. Please hit the like button below if you enjoyed it. Subscribe and tell a friend.